We're running, yeah, everything.
Rolling start.
So,
Let's go, we're into it.
Sam Hodgson, Hodgson.
Bit of a mouthful, but yeah, people call me Hodgie, or yeah, Hodgson works.
Welcome to the Masters of Dirt Hangout, man.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Sam said one of the upcoming stars of Masters of Dirt for sure.
That's
and
nice
so I was like, oh man, must be a cool guy. And it feels so cool that feels always lovely to meet people that you meet and then it feels like you've known them for your whole life. Like, I don't know if you can...
Oh, dude, definitely.
If you can give it back, but it feels like 100%, really...
100%.
Not like we've only been knowing for, what, 5 days?
Yeah, no, not at all. I've had that sort of feeling so much, actually, in the last couple of weeks. And I think I thank the biking community and everything like that for bringing that, because everyone's always so gassed and keen to do the same sort of things. And when you run into the people that live the same sort of life as you do, it's like you've known each other forever, you know? And like, obviously, it's super weird for me, like being here and being at Darkfest and seeing people that I've grown up watching, and then suddenly you meet them, it's like you know each other. I think we have like social media a bit to thank for that and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't know, you just when you run into people that are just as gassed as life as you are, it's like, you know.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. My whole life has been like this. I grew up like watching the Crusty Demons of Dirt videos or the Sprung videos from the UK.
Yeah.
Talk about that a bit later. And like now they're all my friends, you know, they're my friends, my business partners.
Dude,
and it's so normal to be around these hardcore riding machines and big ass legends. I think it formed me quite a bit, and then it made me form people like Sam. You know, Sam Reynolds, when he came to M.O.D, he had to ask his mother if he was allowed to fly out. We talked about it in the other podcast.
Yeah, I think it brings you down to earth a bit as well, to like grow up and seeing all these people like in the format of online, and then you meet them in real life and they are just normal people, you know, like what you see is them riding crazy and living this crazy lifestyle, but actually in real life they're just super sound, down-to-earth people. And I think it's super refreshing to meet everyone and meet your heroes, and actually they are someone that you can really aspire to be like, because they're just so humble. And it's been sick, like turning up at Darkfest, it's literally like every single person there. Like the only person that I really knew before I went to Darkfest was Isted, and Tom Isted is like a legend in his own right, and I'd like met him through riding before, but other than that, like I'd met Sam and a few other people at Audi Nines before, but not like enough to like be bros, you know, just like we like hang out a bit and like rode together, but actually living together and stuff, you just meet all these incredible people. And
how did you get into Audi Nines?
Oh, dude, it was actually completely random, but Audi Nines was my first ever like event that I'd been to, and I never expected to go. I uploaded my video to get in. And I've uploaded actually a couple before, but when I was quite a bit younger, like 16 or something. So for me, uploading another one was just like, yeah, sure, like see how it goes. And the reaction that I got off the video, dude, like they were like, dude, this is insane, like you have to come.
Are you pulling it up here, Mr. Spielberg?
Give it a watch.
Oh, yeah.
So I just threw this together, like didn't expect much.
Masters of Dirt, there it goes. Representing, baby.
Yeah, didn't expect much, and then next thing you know, I was...
Sick, man. Yo, there is this insane monologue we were talking about earlier. Sick. Like barrel roll?
Yeah, like underflip bar spin, yeah.
Sick, nice double flips.
Yeah.
Damn.
So actually I learned all these tricks on that jump.
No foam pit?
No
No
foam
airbag?
pit, no airbag.
Holy
Everything.
hoozle. And how, like, did it cost you any bones?
No, never broken one.
Luckily. So the first double flip, you just like ate
Yeah,
it?
just ate complete shit, dude. Like complete shit.
Over-rotated or under-rotated?
Under-rotated, actually. Like snapped my bars and completely died. But
Who
then
would be filming you or like riding with you?
just random. Anyone, really. Yeah. Like, yeah, this is what actually they, like, blew their mind because I was riding my enduro bike doing slopestyle tricks.
Yeah.
Like, doing all sorts of, like, that's switch truck downy on 170mm enduro bike. And that was, I think, what made them go, dude, this guy's got to come to you.
Thanks for finding
Audi
this
Nines.
piece of
Yeah,
history,
cheers, dude.
Spielberg. Very nice, very nice.
So that got me invited, and which I was like could not believe, because like growing up, actually, the two events that I dreamed about going to was Audi Nines and Darkfest. Really, like Pure Darkness, the original ones, they pretty much got me into biking. They made me see that was just like the ultimate dream and the sickest thing ever. And yeah, like that was my dream to go. And then, yeah, got invited. Completely winged all of it. Like, had no idea. I'd never actually met Pilgrim before. And I messaged him like, yo, like, you don't really know who I am, but are you going to Audi Nines? I've been invited. And Pilgrim, being the guy that he is, was just like, yeah, man, totally. Like, yeah, you can have a lift. Like,
oh, because he drove?
yeah, so he was driving there, and I met. It's like a crazy story, actually. Like he lives in Colchester. I live on the Isle of Wight, and the ferry is kind of like, I don't know. He has to come down, and I have to go up, and then it goes across. So like I actually didn't have a car at the time, so I borrowed my dad's truck to go, and like I was going to meet him on the halfway mark and then drive across, and then the truck broke down on the motorway. So
no way.
Yeah, so I had to get my girlfriend to come across, drive me to where I needed to go. I left the truck at the service station, and and then he picked me up, and it was like, yo, how's it going? And then yeah, we've pretty much lived together for the whole event, and now like I would say that he's one of my good friends and true bros. And yeah, again, thank Mountain Biking for bringing that one together, because he's such a sound guy. And yeah, we just
Pretty rowdy at times, right?
oh, like completely crazy character. Like never met anyone that walks the same way of life as him, but it is just like such a funny guy, such a funny guy. Sure. Like never ever a dull moment, and yeah, but like so humble and just like so relaxed.
So you shared hotel room?
Yeah, so actually it's like you all stay at Centre Parks, which is like
I know, I've been there.
Yeah, like a huge sort of like resort, and there's like big houses, and then we were all in a house together. Like yeah, our house was sick actually. I was in a room with Fedco and all these like Brandog, all these huge names, Emil, and like these are people that I literally like watch online. Like oh my god, like these are the complete bosses of the thing that I'm most into in life. And yeah, and then suddenly I was living in a house with them, and it was just like so sick. Everyone's so humble, everyone's so nice. So yeah, and Audi Nines itself as an event, what an event it is. Like
was that the year where the French guys shut off the roof?
Yes, French. So actually, I think I was meant to be in a house with the Frenchies at first, but I literally was like, don't think I will fit in, mainly because they only really speak French, and they just do poos everywhere, like out the windows, like all on the floor. Yeah, don't know. That's a long story, but yeah, the Frenchies are a bit too crazy.
Man, it was I love Audi Nines, and I love Nico and everyone, and I know the stress they have, especially with the after parties, if they're like corporate partners are there, and then everyone like goes so crazy and so on. And I used to like fly there and then bring booze from the duty free, and then already in the bus, once the bus got lost on the way to the after party, so we had an hour bus ride, and by the time we came out of the bus, everyone was melted. Like, I think Eisted was already puking, Pilgrim was completely off the hook, and we just came chanting. And then, you know, it was like, man, you cannot bring that booze and da-da-da. So you can always come, you know, if this email makes you not want to come anymore, I'm doing something wrong, because we really appreciate you as a guest and a partner. My guy, yeah, fine, of course, but it's not me, you know, like they're all adults.
I think if you put any group of people that live their lives so crazy, like literally your job is to fly through the air and come back down, hopefully on 2 wheels. When you put those characters together, it's gonna go off. Like, everyone's so loose, everyone's so just crazy for life, that when it comes to the party, they sort of approach it with the same like sort of mind as you do when you're riding your bike, which is just to go crazy, and live life to the full, you know. Especially if you
fuel it up with a lot of alcohol. But then
definitely. I think it exaggerates it. But
I stepped back for 1 year, and I was just waiting for the stories to hear how the after party was, and that's when they said, "Man, the Frenchies shat off the roof," and like the Pilgrim was going as crazy as normal. And then I'm like, you see, it's not me. Like these two brown bags from the duty free will not change it. Like you know, it's
I can vouch
will always be unleashed.
As my first experience goes, the after party was pretty crazy. Definitely crazy. Like, mental actually. so much carnage. I think like on the drive back to the accommodation, like they would have had to take that bus straight to the tip, because I know like people were like ripping up the seats and chandering on the bus, and I don't think the drivers were too happy.
no, they're never. But at least it's not always Georgie who causes the
no. I don't think you're the one that was.
I just wanted to prove that point. So next year I'm hopefully invited back.
Don't
still
worry.
Leave the alcohol at home.
It wasn't me that messes it all up.
So how come you're here already? We've spent 5 great days. We went riding Bikepark. We had actually my birthday party here at the warehouse. What else did we do? We went to this little event at to the opening of that Kender jump line. It was good times. But how come you ended up in Austria? You came just from Darkfest,
to give people some context. So like, I've just been at Darkfest, and then, which is in Cape Town. So, well, not in Cape Town, but in Schladming. No, is Schladming?
No, not Schladming. Schladming is in Austria, where the World Cup races. Stellenbosch.
Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
Which is almost in Stellenbosch-ish, but right south of South Africa. So to fly straight from South Africa to the UK is pretty much just like completely crap at the moment, because you have to quarantine for 10 days in a hotel, which costs loads of money, which Tom Eisted has done, and I can positively say that he hated the experience. So instead...
but you have to quarantine at home?
Yeah, no, I do now, because I've been in Austria for 10 days, and it's not a red zone, where if you go straight back from South Africa, you have to go in a hotel, which is like completely crap.
A quarantine hotel?
Yeah, so it's basically, if you go straight from South Africa to England, you have to go to prison pretty much for like 10 days. So me and Ramsey were like, no, we don't want to do that. So Sea Dog invited us back to his to quarantine for 5 days at his house. And then after that, we could just go and do what we want. So it's my first time in Austria, actually. I've never been here before. And it has been insane. We've done motoing, loads of biking, like all sorts, amazing food, partying here, there and everywhere. Yeah, it's been sick. It's been really sick.
And you've been hosted in Understink Spring, the capital city of Clemens Caudela.
Yes, yeah,
so it felt right at home.
Yeah, and Sea Dog's actually been the dream host He's entertained us thoroughly and taken us to some beautiful places. And I say Austria is very, very nice. And yeah, we've just been like riding pit bikes in the garden, dirt jumps, living it up, definitely. It's been the dream, really. And now I'm here doing a podcast. So yeah, it was quite a spontaneous move, but actually it's turned out to be really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, it's always, around Reynolds and Clemens, Sea Dogs, there's always so much shit. And then if you throw me in the mix, there's been we have loads of history and just those drives legends. And the rides yesterday and stuff. Yeah. So much.
Yeah, all the stories that you guys tell of the stuff that you got up to are always completely hilarious. Completely hilarious. And there's never yesterday we were riding the Bikepark. What was that bike park called, actually?
Miesenbach. Shout out to Miesenbach Trailland for hosting us yesterday.
That was really sick. Really cool bike park. Yeah. And also, what a crew, because we were just, every moment that everyone's together, what a group of characters, really, because everyone just creasing all the time. And Sea Dog and Sam are just complete legends in the sport, as you are yourself. So you put them all together, it's always a good time.
Have you met the Russos before?
I met Daniel at Audi Nines, which was my first time, but I hadn't met his brother. And those two are, they're big time up and comers, aren't they? Because they're and as soon as I met Daniel at Audi, I was like, this guy's freaking crazy. Actually, the first time I saw him, he was did a fronty on his downhill bike and landed completely on his face. He was like, oh, crazy. Anyway, hi, nice to meet you, dude. And I was like, this guy's crazy. So they're and I was watching all the videos and stuff. I'd seen them online before, actually.
Yeah.
And obviously, as it goes, meeting someone in real life is always more impressive. So.
Know that they're cool guys.
Really
so
cool
now
guys.
that you lived, you stayed a couple of days here in Austria on Clemens' farm, or at least close to the farmlands, must have made you feel right at home, because you told me you're a jack of all kinds. That's where your own words, learned barista and a farmer, and you're from the Isle of Wight. You were very you said it really nice. You said, I live on the ballsack of England, very down there. It's like the ballsack of England. I'm okay, interesting.
It is indeed. Yeah.
So tell me, how did you grow up and stuff?
I live on the Isle of Wight, which is right on the south coastline of England, and it just hangs off the bottom, just close enough, but far away from everything, which is nice. It's definitely got its gems. So yeah, I've actually grown up my whole life there. My parents run quite an established farm, and they do everything like beef, lamb, pork, and then loads of arable, so crops and stuff like that, and big business heads. My dad's a big entrepreneur and always doing different things. So I've sort of grown up living quite a busy lifestyle, really. Being younger, helping my dad on the farm, always working, blah, blah, blah. And then now, actually, on my dad's farm, I run a bike park. So, in 2011, there was a event called the Island Games. It's like a mini Olympics, but instead of countries, it's islands. And they did a mountain bike event at the farm, and then they put a small track in. And then from there, year by year, it's kind of being there and not really being run by anyone, sort of a bit loose. And then when I was 18, me and my best mate, Matt, we both sort of joined together and said, fuck it, why don't we just run it ourselves? So now I'm in the 4th year of running it, and and it's grown massively.
The event or the park?
The park. Yeah. So the Island Games is, it's gone.
That was a cross-country event.
Yeah, cross-country, and that kind of kick-started a bit of the mountain bike scene, and I was into mountain biking. My dad's super into mountain biking. So, you know, I grew up riding bikes, and then, yeah, when I sort of finished school and stuff, I had the time to take on the bike park for myself. And yeah, so like, and shout out to Matt as well. He is like, couldn't do it without him, you know, like I like building stuff in the woods, but when it comes to doing all the bits and bobs in between, all the paperwork, he's completely on it. So I'm super lucky to have him. And yeah, we just love it, and it's like our little gem, you know. Our baby is this mountain bike park, and it's in my garden. So it's super sick actually, because where the Isle of Wight is sort of closed off to the rest of the world, really, there's nowhere to ride bikes, and unless you go and build them yourself, it doesn't exist. So really, I think I grew up in the way that my parents sort of said that, you know, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to us. You can go out and do anything, but if you are going to do it, you've got to do it for yourself. So, you know, I spent the time, and we built all the jumps and everything in the garden, and I think that built the opportunity for me to ride bikes. You know, I like to sort of think that if an opportunity doesn't knock, you build a door, in the way that, you know, to be living a lifestyle where I can just ride bikes and have fun, you know, you've got to have something to ride bikes on. So I super respect the process of building stuff, and now actually the community of riding on the islands exists. You know, I've seen in year by year it grow more and more, and there's like actually kids now that are super good at riding bikes, and without trying to toot my own trumpet, it's because of the mountain bike park, because they have somewhere to come, and it's awesome to see the community grow. And I think the sport of biking's given me so much that I try and sort of give back as much as I can as well. And if it means that even one person can live a life as I am living mine now, then it's all worth it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, kids are the future, and you need to grow the sport and fight all the mega commercialized sports. You know, I think I think it's almost like therapy. Like the feeling I have when I'm out with the boys riding, or when I'm also alone approaching a ramp, is you let everything go. Yeah. And, you know, with age, the responsibility comes, and then the loans and the companies, or the company you work for, and the duties, you know, the obligations.
Life gets very fast.
Which is normal, but you shouldn't let the kid in yourself die out, nor is mountain bike only a kid sport by now. You know, it's so much more. I mean, it's booming, and it gives you these minutes, hours, depending how long you're on the bike, of freedom. You jump on that bike, you ride down the bike park line, and you're free.
I think,
but like back to the bike park, like, what is it actually called?
So it's called the Isle of Wight Mountain Bike Centre. Okay. That's like our official name. And actually, we've just got a grant from the government, from British Cycling, and they're really helping us expand and progress and build more trails.
Amazing.
So I'm super, super thankful for that. And another shout out to Matt for putting so much work into the paperwork and bits and bobs for that.
Oh, sick. There is the homepage if you guys want to check it out. Isle of Wight mountainbikecentre.com. We'll put it in the description as well.
Yeah, there it is in all its glory.
Nice.
And yeah, like going back to what you were saying before, I think biking, I feel most present when you're biking. You know, when you're out in the woods and you're with your friends, you know, it's the only thing that exists. You know, you're only in that moment biking, and I think that's super healthy for people. I think especially in the environment that we're in now of COVID, where everyone's locked in, I think people have found a new appreciation for getting out and getting outside and spending quality time, I think, for sure. And it's proven in the fact that the sport is growing so fast, as I've seen. Definitely. So yeah, and as going back to it, like the mental health of getting out on your bike is super important. Super important. Sure. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're, you know, the top athlete in the world, or, you know, like the average Joe sat at home getting out on your bike for the first time. I think it's
yeah, it's crucial to be in the to find yourself, especially when you get older, and sports or movement of any kind really helps. And you know, whether if it's pedaling up the hill and then riding down and have that little adrenaline rush, or maybe just get that adrenaline rush from how you say, from loving to suffer and pedaling up a hill, which is obviously not too much my thing, but
pushing your body,
fair
isn't
enough, you know, everyone what they like. But because you mentioned it, health, I remember when I was your age, sounds stupid because I feel like we're the same age, but I'm a bit older with 34. But we didn't care, you know, like we were just like, there was no stretching, there was no, I mean, okay, because my parents always took care, you know, no soft drinks at home and not too much shitty food, but like living on the road with Masters of Dirt or doing the road trips, riding every day, everything was so sore every morning because all we did was riding. And we were like drunk or stoned every evening. And we just kept riding and nothing, like we really didn't care about the well-being of our body, which is so important. And then only with the years now I figured out, okay, it's the connection with body, mind and soul, and also with what you fuel, what you put in your body, like how you fuel it with food or drinks or whatever, that make it so crucial to
definitely
to keep doing it longer. Because at one point the barrel is full, you know, the barrel fills up with toxic shit, you know, whether if it's like McDonald's or catering food or bad sleep or flying airplanes. And then at one point it's full, so you have to like find the balance. Do you take that into consideration, or are you just fully 100%. On the gas?
As you were just saying, the balance is super important in doing events, partying, blah, blah, blah. It's like your body's putting out all the time, you know, you're full gas. But I think actually putting back in is, you know, equally as important, and you've got to find that balance. But now, like in what we're doing right now, doing podcasts and creating a huge database of education for people out there. And like, I live in a generation now, like you're 34, I'm only 22, and I've grown up being able to access that information, like listening to podcasts of people that have walked that way of life. And, you know, I can learn that actually doing stretching and doing yoga, doesn't matter how old you are, it is important. And all right now my body's pretty tolerable, but it does make a difference. Even at my age, you know, like I can do more for longer if you look after yourself.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think
also there's some very, very nice yoga teachers out there.
There are, and they are. Yeah, they're. You know,
it's another motivation to
yeah,
go to
it
yoga
is, and it's accessible if you know where to look. And you've got to have that thought in your mind that if you look after your body, then when you get older, you can carry on. You know,
definitely. Yeah.
I think for so long, so many athletes, especially in the extreme sports world, that just accepted that when you reach a certain age, you clock off. But I'm like, in my head right now, I don't want to just reach 30 years old, 35 years old, and I never want to be in a position where I want to keep doing it, but I physically can't. And you know, like mentally, if I reach that age and I've reached a point where I'm completely satisfied in everything I've done, and what really appeals to me is golf or something, then so be it. But you know, right now I'm pretty motivated to prioritize my longevity. I think.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to do this like body and mind hacks, and there's like breathing is a huge part of yoga. And it's so important for me, like even for like stuff that's probably minor for you, like, but flipping the jump yesterday on the downhill bike, and it's like relatively flat and long, and I'm like, and you just, you know, it clogs up in your stomach, and you just need to Really breathe it out. And regarding doing it as long as possible, I also want to do it as long as possible, because the feeling of jumping a jump, the feeling of pulling off for a flip and not being sure, how am I gonna make, how is it gonna feel, what do I have to do, like that. It's always fighting your inner demons. You know, on a racetrack, you have a guy next to you. You want to be faster than him. You visually have an appealing of like, oh man, look at that fucker. I want to be faster than him. And you give it that extra. In like slopestyle or freeride, or you're alone on the track, you know, and you have to like put in hard work to win, but before all, fight your inner demon. You know, like to go and pull for a double backflip. I mean, even on airbag, I shat my pants. You learned it without an airbag even, right?
Yeah. And I think actually it's a super interesting topic you mentioned there, really, because I think going back to being able to educate ourselves online and blah, 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 I think I've got to a point now where I only ride bikes for myself. And really, growing up, I never wanted to be better than the next guy. I never sort of had a initial goal that I had to reach. And maybe it's a fear of when I reach that goal, what's next? I don't know. But I feel like I've managed to have the sort of means to educate myself about the mental side of extreme sports, and like expand my consciousness. Really, like to me, biking is just biking, and I love it. I love it so much. And whether or not I'm at the top of a course, about to drop in for something that's probably got money on the line, or I'm just, I don't know, riding at home on my own or whatever, I'm just there for fun. My priority is fun. And to be honest, that mindset has taken me to where I am now. And I think if I'm just satisfied in the journey and not the destination, then it carries on forever. It never ends. And I think I see so many people stress themselves out in the fact that they need this and they need that. But when you strip it back and you just enjoy the process, then actually you find that you can enjoy yourself so much more. And
yeah, 100%. The mental pressure on competitions, or if you put yourself in competition with others, like, hey, he does a bar spin more, or fuck, he lands it every time and I don't land it now, and da-da-da. And also if you, in my opinion, I mean, I haven't really been that kid, because I would, you know, hit my tibia 5 times trying a tail whip, and then I'd be like, oh, fuck it. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't be asked. Let's do something else. Let's do 540 more flip tables. But still, I think if you put yourself into comparison, and if you're like, okay, I'm trying it 50 times, even if I crash 50 times, makes no sense. And my wakeboard teacher, Fetzi, a world champion, like wakeboard boat, I think, world champion. Anyway, crazy guy, dreaded guy. Shout out to Fetzi's World. He said, if you try something 5, maximum 10 times and you can't do it, let it go, do something else for a couple of hours or until the next day, so muscle memory kicks in and you don't like go too crazy about it in detail.
Like with learning stuff, you've almost like, I wait until subconsciously I think I'm ready. Like I've tried tricks before and I don't think I can potentially visualize it properly, and you just try it because you just want to do it. You just, you know, you've seen someone else do it, you want to do it. And I think through doing that, I've learned that actually I just try and wait for things to be more organic. So like when I was think like 17, 18, tried double flips. Didn't work, like literally landed on my head. And it just didn't work at all. And I left that for literally 2 years. And I think you can like mentally prepare yourself way, way more than I think people understand. Like in riding anything, you can visualize it enough to the point where I think you can fully train your muscle memory to be able to do it. And when I do try new tricks and things like that, I just completely switch off and let my my body do it. And when I'm ready to do that, most of the time it will work. And sometimes I'll try something, it doesn't work, I'll step away from it, I'll think about it enough until I can sort of be confident that I've worked through the process enough in my head. And when I go back to it, now I understand what I need to do to be able to do that. So like say for Darkfest, literally the biggest jumps in the world. Like they are ridiculous. Like in videos they look big. In real life, you stand at the bottom of a takeoff and like looking at it thinking, how on earth do you go up there and land there? And for that, I had to do loads of just mental game for it, for sure. Just thinking what it would be like, working through my head, how it would be. And I think when you get to a point where you can trust that, that's when it goes well. And I think if you don't trust that and you think that you need to do something more than your body is subconsciously able to do, then it goes wrong.
No, 100%. As soon as you stress, I had that experience, especially in riding those crazy trails in South France. Like, shout out to the Penier BMX guys, actually. It's like super steep, no room for error. Yeah. And it's mega scary. Like, it's tiny compared to Darkfest, but you can fuck yourself up really easy. If you stress, but in general in biking, if you stress about a trick or a jump, a line you want to jump, you will fail. It's almost sure that you will fail. So you need to be relaxed, but you don't need to be suicidal relaxed, you know, like not too overconfident. But they said at Darkfest you hit the 100-footer straight away without even thinking about it. What the hell were you thinking?
Don't really know. Well, it wasn't what I was thinking. It's almost what I wasn't. Like, I feel like there's a balance of like, you've got to respect the jumps and respect how dangerous they are, but also you've got to trust in the jumps and in yourself to the capability that it's possible. Like, to me, it was actually, we were all at the top of the roll-in and everyone dropped in and to test it. And there was like sort of a subconscious thought that I was sat up there alone and it was like, you're meant to do this jump right now. And I said to myself, it is just a jump and it's got a run in and it's been done in years before. So someone's going to have to try it.
So you opened it up.
So I opened up. It worked perfect.
Damn.
Went straight in.
What's the biggest jump you jumped before that?
Biggest jump, probably like Crab Apple in Whistler, I would say.
Which is?
The big tables, they're like, I don't know, just 70 foot, I think. 70 foot. But they're big, but they're nothing like that.
Yeah.
And they're tabletops.
Yeah.
And like maybe they're big doubles at Audi Nines and stuff like that.
There you jumped the 100. So Darkfest, you opened the 100-footer, 30 meters, right?
Yeah.
Which is insane. Was it wet?
No, it was good. No. It was prime. Just worked perfect. Damn. And after that, and like, it's weird, like, fear in my mind is something that when I first think about something, I'll like get the fear. And then I'll think about it enough to the fact that like I know that it will be fine. And in that moment, it was just a jump. It's just riding a jump. Like, actually going away from that slightly, it was the first. So Darkfest was the first time I ever actually rode downhill bike.
Yeah, that was next on my list. I wrote that down. So first time you backflipped and jumped a downhill bike?
I'd like ridden full sus bikes, but I'd never ridden like a triple crown, like proper downhill bike before, 200mm suspension. So like everything was pretty new, but actually I think it was quite a good thing because it was like I had no expectation. I didn't go thinking I had to do this or that. Like, it was all pretty new and really it opened up my mind completely. Like, I was like, this feels amazing. This feels really good.
They fly pretty stable.
They fly, yeah, like I'm used to riding a 100mm hardtail dirt jump bike, and the margin for error on one of those, as you know, is a lot smaller than on a downhill bike. So when you can get on jumps that are built by insane dudes and they work so well, and you're on a bike that can take it just as equally, then like, you know, let's go. So yeah, like going back to that 100-footer, it's like it's meant to be. And it worked out.
Sick.
So.
Man, gnarly respect. I would never hit those jumps.
But like going back, I didn't do it to be the first guy that wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it because I wanted to be the first one. It was just happened to be, I think.
Perfect. Fair enough. Yeah,
out.
Sam told us that story in the hangout we have had. Absolutely crazy. Last but not least, are actually two more things I want to touch base on. First of all, DMR bikes, the holy grail. Like you've seen the first V12 that ever came out. I still ride them on my bike, which is probably 20 years, like 15 to 20 years ago. Amazing brand. Wilkins rides for them too, right?
Yeah, he's quite involved in the company actually. Yeah, such a sick brand, really cool. I think for me, it was like the perfect time that they reached out and everything happened super sort of organically. And
they reached out or you reached out?
So actually it was like pretty random. Like one of the guys that works there, he was like on the island visiting a bike shop. That bike shop said, oh, you've got to speak to this guy. I just met up and we got chatting and then sort of went on from there. And it is like a super sick brand. Like I don't just ride for them because it's a bike. I ride for them because all the guys behind it are super sick and they love the sport and they all ride bikes and they just get it. Like I sort of like before I had sponsors that like nothing serious, but I sort of like thought that maybe being a professional rider wasn't what I thought it would be. Sort of thinking that bike brands didn't really care as much as I thought they would. And for me, I think that like sort of put me a bit into reality and I was sort of lost the love a bit for what I thought as a kid it would be. And then it was actually so good that DMR have picked me up now because they are what I thought it would be. They do really care and it's not corporate and, you know, budgets this, finances that. It's like real talk, you know. If you want to do a project or you want to get something done, they'll phone you up and they'll talk to you about it. And you know, and their roots are dirt jumping, which is, you know, what my favorite thing to do. And they're pushing it in a really cool direction.
Dope.
And I think it's a sick brand, and they make great stuff. Really.
No, for sure. So I love it. I always loved it. I had banners and I had like the pedals and the cranks and the black chrome frames, 24-inch.
Yeah.
Was good times back with Andy Brewy that you met yesterday. He actually he got me into riding.
Sick.
Pretty crazy. In 1999. That's quite some time ago.
That was the year. 1999. It's the year I was born.
Sick. Yeah, that time flies. So an average day back at the farm. How many hectares you said the farm had?
Just shy of about 1,000 acres. So
how does an average day look for you when you're not traveling?
When I'm not traveling, I would say an average day is pretty flat out. So Matt picks me up in the morning at 6:30 every morning.
6:30 is 6:30 or?
Yep, 6:30 in the morning, and we go to the farm every day. Because I've just actually moved off the farm. I live at my girlfriend's house, but he picks me up every morning. We graft super hard. So we build tracks and do work on the mountain bike center. We just out in the woods building trails. And then if we have been grafting pretty hard, we'll come back, we'll ride bikes, we'll test what we've built, shred and eat good food and hang out with people. Say we're open in the evening, all the locals will come in and then I've got a dog now as well, so that's super sick. She's only a little pup, she's only 6 months. So it's just sweet to be out in the countryside and then say on a weekend, if it's good surf, we go surfing. If it's good weather, we go riding.
Really? You can surf there?
Yeah, dude. Surfing on the island's huge. You know, there's huge community. Definitely don't do it enough. Seeming I'm surrounded by water. But yeah, there's the Isle of Wight's got so many gems. Like loads of people sort of think that because it's not London, it's not got any opportunity. But there is endless fun if you know where to look. Like every person that I know that's come down always walks away thinking, what an incredible, beautiful place. So yeah, I'd say to sort of, it's difficult to say what an average day would be because pretty much every day is different, really. It depends what's going on.
But you get up early and you work out. Two guys only on that?
Yeah, it's just me and Matt. We just graft it. We've got a few little nippers that help us here and there. But, you know, got to teach them how to graft. But yeah, we'll smash out 12-hour, 14-hour day if we want. If we want to work hard, you get stuff done for sure. And I've grown up seeing my parents and my brother and everything work so hard that there's no time. You're never sat at home.
The farm's still ongoing, so you still have the cows and all the animals.
Yeah. It is a full, flat-out running farm for sure. And my older brother is doing a lot in that as well. But no, I've sort of taken on the mountain bike side of things and diversified.
Confront with all the animals on the property, because like we have show jumping horses and it's right next to the Masters of Dirt backyard in South France, and like we can't ride when the horses are there because like they would freak out, or the other way around.
Not really. Like it's kind of all the mountain biking part is tucked in the places that can't be farmed, so like all the woodland and things like that. So really we try and push the main areas of biking away from the areas that aren't being farmed. So yeah, like it's kind of squeezed in all the little nooks and crannies of it, so it works out perfectly. And the Isle of Wight is really hilly as well. People don't really think because it's small, it's hilly, but yeah, no, there's no flat spots for sure. So yeah, it's quite diverse terrain, and yeah, it's perfect for riding bikes. Really good.
Sick.
And it's the sunniest place in England, apparently. So it's pretty nice.
Dude, just because I'm reading it now, it's a crazy day today, Spielberg. I don't know if you read it. The internet there's been a huge internet down on the whole freaking planet. Like
really?
Spotify and Amazon and Twitter and Twitch and it all crashed, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it will make people step back into the real world a bit. I think that's actually super good. Like when we are out on the farm, building and in the woods, it does just make you feel amazing to be away from it all. You know, there's like no internet out there, and you know you can stop for lunch and just look at a beautiful view without having to sit on your phone or do whatever.
True, yeah. I'm also like in between both parties here. Like I also don't like phone zombieing, especially when we're out. You see the boys for once, like every 3 months, or now even COVID. You see them for once after a year, and then not even 20 minutes, everyone's on their phone again. Okay, it's part of their jobs and so on. And look, for a lot of people, it's a way to connect. You know, a lot of people wouldn't have really friends or no hobbies, and then they are on social media and check out other people. So fair, I think it's a new generation. But the crazy thing is like, because you say back to the real world, and the real world is so depending on the internet now. Like all the payments, all the GPS. Okay, no, GPS is different, right? GPS, it's different.
Same.
But like it's it's digital, electronic, and so on.
It's such a weird one because it's like it's a form of connecting, but with a certain bracket of disconnection from other things. Like definitely you can connect from people far out, but I think the more you do that, the less you connect to the people that you're actually near. I think social media, and I think all of these forms of connection are fantastic, but in balance. I mean, like, I would say this is probably pessimistic, but like 1 in 10, we were actually saying in the car, 1 in 10 people of like, not like your friends, like 1 in 10 of like the general public, most of the time are an arsehole, really. So when you've got...
1 in 10?
I don't know, maybe 1 in 20, don't know.
So no, I would say...
Would you say less?
No, more.
Really? Yeah.
More, like no insult to our listeners or the people out there, but I mean, I would say every second.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, look at the votes.
Well,
look
dude.
at the fucking racist parties getting
look
votes. Look how politics. I mean, we're not going to get into politics at all, but look how people speak to each other and like insult each other and then make lots of noise against immigrants or this or like.
And I think like I'm certainly super fortunate to be surrounded by a lot of really nice people, but there are definitely a lot of shitters out there. And like when you are on a platform like social media and you get 100 comments, you might say 1 in 10 or even 1 in 2 of those are going to be one of them shitters. And I think if you're a vulnerable person and someone that takes words from others pretty seriously, it's a dangerous place.
Yeah,
for sure. And you can get eaten up very easily.
And I hate those keyboard heroes, and I that's why I love mountain bike community at a certain state, or where I see it's very cool is I play drums for a hobby.
Yes.
And there's this drum community, and there's people like they put their video on there, and it's so shit. Poor guy can't drum for shit. But no one gives him shit. Everyone's like, yeah, keep going, keep chasing your dreams. Shit at
one point, for sure.
Yeah, but everyone will give the people support, and that's I think that's what I don't like about the keyboard heroes that know your name, not your story. First of all, like, okay, Georgie has everything from his dad, or Hodgson got whatever they come up with, they will find a reason to try and make you feel bad. And that's actually true that's a bad thing about the internet. But back to the thing, sorry, I think half of the people out there, obviously not our listeners, are narrow-minded, stuck up, and just have something wrong in their brain, because if you see the reflections of if you watch what's happening in this world or what people vote, as like lunatic presidents, by being completely blind, then I think unfortunately your 1 to 9 is not
realistic.
Not
maybe
realistic,
where I live is a 1 to 9 because it's a beautiful place and people have an upbringing that they can appreciate. But there are certainly places in the world that aren't good to grow up. And and you are shat on by the world, and maybe that does turn the people into not liking it and not liking the fellow man, which is upsetting, but it is the way it is. But I think in being in a sport like biking or into music and things like that, I believe, and it's certainly something that I think about, that it's an art and it's beautiful, and you can appreciate it when you sort of strip it down to its raw form is just hanging out with your friends and just enjoying yourself. It doesn't have to have an opinion. It's just
also on the countryside. It's more humble. Like, hi, everyone helps everyone. Yeah. I can see it here. I mean, we're with the warehouse 15 minutes outside Vienna, and it's a total different feeling. Like everyone helps everybody. And in Vienna, if you say hi, there's a lot of people are like shocked and don't say hi, or if you smile, someone, what are you smiling at? Like, what the fuck? Let me smile. I'm just trying to be nice. I want to spread some love. Like, hey, nice to see you. I'm not smiling at you or how you look or your girlfriend, but I mean, guess that's how it is.
Yeah, like, dude, you go to London or something, and it's like almost a joke. You'll sit on the tram and you don't speak to, not a tram, so sit on the train, the subway, or whatever. You don't speak to
get headbutted for a smile.
Yeah, you don't talk to other people. But dude, I spend a lot of time on ferries, living on an island. And sometimes, like, if you sit on the ferry the whole time and looking at your phone, you get 20 minutes in, you're like, holy shit, this is so boring. But the times that you actually spark a conversation with a random person, and they probably turn out to be really interesting from a walk of life that you wouldn't even imagined, and the time flies by, and I love that. I love being able to just connect with random people. I think more people should get into that way of life of being open-minded. Definitely.
For sure. And I think also girls should start approaching men more. Like, hey, how are
scary.
you? How are you? Hey, it's a pleasure to see you. Nice shirt. You have a nice glasses.
Yeah, you can make.
It's not only us. Like,
that's
we
it.
take 5. Should I? Oh, everything's sweating. You're like, oh man, should I go up? Should I go up? Oh, you look wonderful today. Oh, really? Thank you. And then it's like, okay, the ice is broken. But yeah.
I think you can make.
It's been a while.
You can make someone's day in a compliment. Anyone, randomly,
exactly.
Even saying hi to someone that might not even speak to a person that day. For sure.
Or at the bike park to the kids, like just connect with them and be humble, and that's what I've like. I met you as a very humble person. I think that's the way to go. And
likewise,
I think it's karma. I swear to God, I think it's karma.
Yeah.
Every car I let pass, and I say, hey, please, like every car I give priority. Every little smile, every homeless or so that I give a nickel, how you guys say, or a euro or 2. I think all those little bits add up to an all-round karma.
I think everything is reciprocating, 100%. Like, say for me in my biking career, to be more specific, is that if I put more into the sport, I get more out of it, 100%. And it's all the little things that build up. Definitely, everything is reciprocating. Definitely, definitely. Sure. And I think if you're in that mindset, then sometimes, if you are just that bit more relaxed and that bit more thankful for what you do have, when something bad happens, you don't react so beaten up about it. And actually, it wasn't as bad as you might thought. If you've got that thing in the back of your head that's telling you you've had a crappy day, and you spill a bit of coffee on your shirt, it's
just a shirt.
It's not the end of the world. It's just a shirt. You've got another 100 more at home, but when you get stuck in that rut, I think people just get that feeling of being beaten up.
It is, but it's also hard if you're in a bad place, which also happens sometimes to me, like where every dream has become reality so far, thank God. If you're in a negative, like downward spiral, it's just really hard to wind yourself up again. But it's at the end, it's everyone has to carry its own baggage. But I think, like we said before, health, movement,
but
karma
I think,
helps.
Stepping on what we said earlier on is balance. Like summer and winter, without the dark, rainy days, you don't get luscious grass and a lovely summer, And I think if you're someone that's just happy all the time, then like what does that mean? You've got to be a sort of emotional person, and you've got to accept that, because it is important. Like that feeling of being completely stoked on life and super happy about where you are. I think if you are someone that takes both sides of that, you appreciate one way more when you do have the other. Definitely.
Sure.
And I think it's something that, like, feeling sad about something or anything like that is important. I think you should embrace it, because the foundation of happiness is built off that. And I think fearing it is only going to make it worse.
True. Wise words. Future plans. What's up? Now you're going back home, and then we won't see you. You will be farming and building a big bike park.
Yeah. So to look.
Or what are the summer plans?
To look forward then. Well, like I said, I've got this grant from the British Cycling, so I've got a lot to build for that. So that's keeping me very busy, which I'm super thankful for. And to be honest, my whole career so far has been organic. And I think I'll keep it that way, be open-minded, work hard, see where it goes. I've made so many good friends, so it'd be great to catch up with them again, and have so many friends at home. So I'm looking forward to seeing those. But, I've summer now, so every day's beautiful. So just get out and ride my bike and carry on. And then going into next year, we've got, all crazy events again, hopefully, if COVID tends to back off a bit. But got Audi Nines this year, so I'm super excited for that, because going into last year's, it was all new, and I had no idea what to expect. But I think now I've got a bit more of an idea. I can prepare a bit better, and see where it goes. Definitely.
Nice.
Definitely. But yeah.
So sponsors, you should look out for Sam.
Yeah.
Big things coming up.
Yeah, I think it's all a path for opportunity, for sure.
And yeah, it was a pleasure to speak to you.
Likewise.
I look forward to the next episode, look forward to the next ride-outs, to the next parties, to maybe visit you in the bike park.
Definitely.
Or welcome you at the M.O.D backyard.
If you're watching or listening and want to come to the Isle of Wight, pop in and say hi.
Perfect.
Definitely.
We'll put the web link in the descriptions. What's your Instagram?
Sam Hodgson, but the last O is a 0, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, we'll just put it in the description.
Yeah, put it in the links.
Any last words, or that's it?
Yeah, no, just
it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time.
Boom.
And
dude, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. One more night. Tomorrow you're leaving, so
yeah.
By the time this is online, you'll be back home.
Back home. Thank you, Austria, for being so lovely.
You're welcome. Speaking for the crowd. All right. Thank you, Spielberg.
Yeah, cheers, dude.
It's a good one.